Hello friends, I made this for. My name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to me talking about tarot, astrology, toxic spirituality, and everything in betwixt. Today I want to talk about our beautiful planet in Venus that is approaching tomorrow, because I'm putting this out on this here Monday, the 14th. Today is the day that I talk to y'all about Venus in Sagittarius. Oh my God, my mind went blank. How terrifying. Sagittarius season is right around the corner. And so because of that, we're going to be seeing way more planets starting to move into Sagittarius. So, with Venus moving into Sagittarius on Tuesday, let's talk about it. Today I'm going to be talking about this astrological movement through the Renaissance Tarot. This is a used tarot deck that I got from my beautiful husband. So the Empress is a little scuffed up. But that's okay. So yes, we're going to be using the Empress to talk about Venus. And we're going to be talking about Temperance as the card for Sagittarius. So we're going to just kind of talk very quickly, very loosely about some themes that might be kind of coming up with this transition. Of course, if you like talking about astrology through the tarot, make sure to ring that bell for notifications so you know whenever I'm doing this. And if you are a subscriber, bell ringer, blah, 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 you're the MVP babies. So let's start by talking about Venus. Venus is the Empress, and Venus is all about our value system. It's about what we find beautiful in the world. It's about what we nurture and what we take care of. You can see here, there's literally fucking cornucopias. How fucking legit is that? Cornucopias and all of this fruit, these grapes coming out. The Empress themselves is covered with green, this very earthy delight sort of thing. Their necklace looks like maybe strawberries. They're coming out of a bundle of wheat, the stars as a crown around them. It's pretty legit. So it's all about what are we making space for, what is important to us, and how is that a reflection of our value system, right? So Venus is often considered the planet of love. And again, love is important to our value system. Who we love is important to our value system. But ultimately, if we were to look at Venus and say this is just about our love life, we would be really short-sighting one of the most important personal planets that we have in our chart, because it's so much more than that. So what does Venus look like in Sagittarius? Well, let's talk about what Sagittarius is all about through looking at Temperance. Sagittarius to me is big alchemic energy. It is the teacher, it is the philosopher, it is the person who travels across the world to seek out knowledge and share it. And we can see that reflected by this card especially. But there's a duality to it. There is this alchemic energy from this water that is both red and white being just magically going back and forth. And we see black on this side and white on this side here. There's kind of this match, this mix and match, this reflection of duality here. And that is because I think there's a lot of duality when we are looking at Sagittarius. There's a lot of different energies within it that are very much about how we view the world and condense that information of our views and share them. So what does this mean for Venus? If Venus is our value system and Temperance or Sagittarius is all about knowledge and pursuit of knowledge and understanding and seeing both sides and condensing that into one ideology, one sort of like practice, a picture of the world. Then right now, what we might be asked to do is to really evaluate our value system, and what we find important might be more tied to educating ourselves in this time. It might be a really good time to start up a class, to start a new book, and to really do some reflective practices. I'm not talking about necessarily like being a Google researcher, but I am saying there might be a good idea to look at both sides a little bit more than ever in the recent weeks that are going to be passing while Venus is in Sagittarius. I think that's even more important now that we have the interesting change, and this is my soapbox I'm gonna just like get up on right now. But in our political climate right now, we all tend to be very focused on watching what our people are doing only. And this is something I try to share all the time. Make sure you're diversifying your intake of news. Understand where other people are coming from, and understand that people are not making choices out of some like wickedness, but rather what they are exposed to. I saw a TikTok person recently talking about how it's not people voting against their best interests. We just don't recognize what people's interests are. We are misinterpreting their interests. And I think that might be a really good indication of how we can gain knowledge. We can kind of alchemize our input with temperance, this Sagittarian energy that is all about pulling back the bow and creating this tension of knowledge so that we can release it, right? So the idea being that we really think about our value system, but also look at the value system of those around us. Because in this time of Sagittarian energy that we will be entering, not this week, but the week following, we're going to be having a lot going on. We'll have our first dark moon after the eclipse season. We're also going to see Jupiter go direct. We're going to see some things change. And I think one thing that came up from this whole eclipse season and also midterm season is we need to be really vigilant about learning how others think and why without judgment, but strictly like observing. And that's a really powerful thing with Sagittarius. There's a lot of bold ideology and sharing of knowledge, but Sagittarius is, yes, passionate, but can be a little bit more objective about it. Not as objective as, let's say, Aquarius, because that's like very alien. But in this time, how can we embody this energy while nurturing our value system, nurturing what we find important, and nurturing the things that we find beautiful in the world? How do we intake the information so that we are not being completely biased? How can we intake the information and really condense it in a way that makes sense and that allows us to see outside of our own perspective? That's my thoughts and feelings on this, friends. I hope all of that makes sense. And as always, please pull out your temperance and your empress and do some journaling. A good question might be, what am I meant to alchemize around my belief system? What about the world is beautiful that I can really nurture and learn more about? How can I keep myself informed in ways I haven't before? Those are just some ideas, but definitely take out your own cards in your deck and let me know down below. What are you seeing and why? What is this looking like to you? Because I think for a lot of us, naturally we get swept up in our own thought patterns, and it can be really important to see what are other people thinking and why, without the judgment, with just observing and going, Okay. I see. I don't agree, but I see. I see it. Because once we can see, even though we don't agree, we can start to come to a different sort of connection. And of course, with this time of year, we might be seeing family, we might be doing all those things. And so our knowledge and our ability to be objective with it might be really powerful. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to be passionate. Don't lose those fires, those sparks, that energy, that drive. But do make it manageable for yourself. With all that said, check out the links down below. I've got more Hail Saturn merch up in my shop. That is in my link tree down there. If you like what I do, join my Patreon if you like, or listen to the podcast. Got lots of cool stuff coming up, including launching my coloring book online. That's happening this week. So if you're interested, make sure that you are signed up to my newsletter. That's also in the stuff in the notes, whatever, because it might be really interesting to you and you'll get first dibs on that information. Until next time, I love you. Bye-bye.